What's up? It's Juice Beats, back again with another race video. And here we are again at the Music City Crit Series. This is race number 10 and my last race in the series at Music City. There is one more after this, but I wasn't able to attend that last race due to a prior commitment. But yeah, so this is my last race going in here, and I wanted to go out with a bang, but nature had other plans in this race. Let me get some stats out of the way. 24.3 miles per hour average for me, 316 watt average, 307 normalized, and a 1428 max on the wattage there. So I did have a little bit of punch on this day, but this may have been probably my worst race of 2023. There was some extreme temperature changes in the last week or so prior to this race. So it had been fairly mild. It hadn't been overly hot. It had been maybe 70s, pretty decent weather. But this day was the first extremely hot day, and the heat on the track was between 95 and 105 degrees during the race. Also, we're dealing with some air quality issues. The Canadian wildfires, I guess, a lot of people had heard about that, but that was creating air quality issues here in Tennessee. So we were kind of dealing with that. And this being my last race, of course, it had to be the 180 degree turns here, which is the tougher one. But I felt like going into this, I felt prepared for it. I've done it several times before, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't having to punch too much out of it. And you can see there, I wasn't really punching too much out of it. I reached, I think, 700 watts or something like that coming out of it, which is a lot less than what I've done in the past. So I usually will come out of there, and then I'm sprinting basically over 1,000 watts, trying to keep up with the rest of the group. But here, I wanted to stay towards the front here, and I've got my guys that I know from previous races being out here that I wanted to kind of follow and get a good wheel and follow them throughout this race. So that's what I'm doing. But here we go with some attacks already, and things are lighting up. So had to punch it again there, and yeah, here we go. I felt like I started off fairly well in this race. But one thing to keep in mind, especially going into this race, even though this is going to be my last race and I wanted to go out with a bang on this one, I had a really tough week prior to this race. With my job being a wedding photographer, I actually had a wedding down in Myrtle Beach. So we left Sunday. The race is on Wednesday, so we left Sunday. And I got down there, and I wasn't able to do a workout on the bike. So really, I just got into the hotel, did some weights, did about 45 to an hour workout there as soon as I got out of the car, basically. So I wanted to at least get some strength workout in if I couldn't get on a bike. But it was a sunrise wedding, so ate that night and then went to sleep. Woke up super early, I think 4:45 or so in the morning, because we had to get out to the wedding site pretty early and make sure we were all set up. So we got out there pretty early and then shot the wedding, and then had to drive back that night. So it takes 7 hours from my house. So 7 hours on Sunday in the car, workout, wedding, 7 hours back in the car, and then I actually had to get on the bike and do a little bit of a workout because I didn't want to go into this race just fairly cold, or just haven't been on the bike in a few days. So try to get that workout in, and maybe I should have gone a little bit softer or a little less hard coming out of the car or whatever with that many miles. and that many hours being in the car. But I try to work hard, and I want to go into these races feeling pretty confident, and didn't think that would take too much of a toll. But I think with that thing Sunday and Monday, and then doing the travel out to Nashville, 2.5 hours on a Wednesday. It's a quick turnaround. It's a lot of traveling, and traveling does take a lot out of you. And then with that also, the heat index and all that was going on this day, it was just not my day. And I'm hanging in there at the moment, and I feel like if I can just stay on a wheel here, I might be able to make it to the end. But you guys could probably already guess as to where I'm going with this race here. But you can see that I'm pushing out a lot of watts, but I'm not really going anywhere at the moment. And if you're not going forward, you're going backward, and that's where I feel like I'm going at this moment. I'm going backward, but I haven't given up, and I'm just trying to stick on some wheels at the moment, and just try to hold in there, or hang in there for the rest of this race here. So I'll skip forward a couple laps. Here we are going through. This will be our fifth lap in the race, going around this 180-degree turn again. And I'm still sitting, I think, mid-pack. So I'm still not out of it. I'm still doing okay. I'm still hanging in there. Still trying to stick on the wheels. I'm punching it out of there, but I'm not going super crazy yet. And one thing that I remember from this race, even though this was a few weeks ago, there was a slight headwind coming out of that 180-degree turn. So that is a factor, and that has been a factor in other races as well. So coming out of there, you got to punch it even harder going into a headwind. And if you're not on a decent wheel at that point, then you could be falling behind. But you can see my heart rate is in the 170s, and I think my max is in like the low 180s or something like that. So I'm kind of sitting pretty high at the moment right now. So that is another factor with the heat. Your heart rate will run higher in the heat. So that's why you see a lot of guys with the ice socks and stuff like that in major races and things, just to help cool their body temperature and keep them cool throughout the race. We didn't have that here though, so I'm just out here in my full gear. Probably made a mistake. I wore my long sleeve kit, which I had worn that in previous weeks and was fine, but because it was so hot, I think the long sleeves probably didn't do me any service in this one. They're not thermal or anything like that. They're pretty thin sleeves, but I think I should have gone with the shorter sleeves and just rocked my jersey and bib kit. So jumping ahead just a little bit more here, and I'm losing a little bit of the wheel here. I'm back a little too far. Don't want to be this far. Got to take a good turn around here, and I think I took a little bit too wide of a turn on that one, and now I'm having to punch it. So you see I punched it over 1,000 watts. So there goes a match there. And then of course, headwind, I don't have the benefit of the draft because I'm sitting back here. And then we got my man Eli behind me saying, let's go. I'm like, I'm trying out here, I'm trying. I do eventually catch on to the back here of the peloton, but I'm realizing now that the heat and the tiredness is taking a toll at the moment on in this race. So I'm sitting, in the back here, and I'm trying to stay on a wheel, and I'm pushing out the watts, and I feel like I'm not going anywhere at this moment in the race. We are 7 laps in, and heading into our 8th lap. I feel like I'm okay, kind of. You know, like I said, you know, the heat's getting to me a little bit. I'm falling a little bit behind, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm still around guys. I'm still kind of in the peloton, so usually that's an okay sign that I'm still kind of in the race. So I want to make sure that I'm staying, you know, with the guys in the peloton at least. Now, if a breakaway goes, then I'm in trouble sitting all the way back here. But right now, I'm concentrating on trying to stay on a wheel and stick with the peloton. So punch it. I think I reached 1400 there. Yeah, and guys are leaving me at the moment. And I am trying. I just have nothing. We're going 28 miles an hour. I'm pushing over 700 watts, trying to get back on the back here. And I'm feeling like crap at the moment, and people are going around me. Just have no energy whatsoever in this race. And I don't think it's not my training or anything like that. I think it was just, this week was just super hectic for me. Too much traveling, too much time in the car, and then, you know, trying to go out there and perform and be at my, you know, at my top performance or whatever for this race, and it just was not happening. Yeah, I just couldn't hold on to the wheels in this one, and I really, like, I felt so frustrated. I felt so bad about this race afterwards, and it just, you know, it tears me up because, you know, at this point in the season of racing, I should be at, you know, my peak performance, but I didn't feel like I was in this race. And, you know, a lot of that is, you know, due to the heat, and you got to get heat acclimated if you're going to race in heat like this, but also just, you know, you got to be fairly well rested as well. The traveling to, you know, 14 hours in the car and then another 2.5 to the race is probably not a good idea. But, you know, this was the last race in Music City. I wanted to be out there. Well, the last race for me that I could make it to. So I wanted to be out there. But there it goes. Yeah, the wheels fall off, and I am desperately trying to get back on. And I'm using a lot of matches just to try to get back on. And I'm probably doing this the wrong way. You know, after thinking about it, I probably should have maybe gone more conservative, 450 watts or something like that, and tried to TT back onto the back. Because there was some points where I saw that the Peloton did slow down a little bit, you know, because in this race they get a little bit surgy at times. But there were some times that happened, and I felt like if I had TT'd it at about 450, I might have been able to catch back on a little bit later on. Here, I put that punch in, and I was able to connect on the back here, but I don't think it's for very much longer at this point. From what I'm remembering in this race, it's been a few weeks now. Try to put this one out of my mind. I guess it has been a while, so I didn't remember getting back on and kind of sitting on the back for this much longer, but maybe I did. Closing in on 8,000 meters in this race, and yeah, I'm holding on for dear life. I had to make a nice little effort to get back on the back there on this past lap, but yeah, now I'm falling backward again. And see, there's that little slowdown. So that's what I was talking about, the little slowdowns at points during the race like that. When that happens, that's when you know, it helps to move up in races like this. But I'm not moving up right now, and that's what thinking about it now and watching this video, that's what I should have done. I should have just punched it a little bit and got up closer to the middle of the peloton, and I probably could have stuck in there a little bit longer. But you know, I'm draining energy on the back, surging, especially out of the 180-degree turn coming up. So you know, that took a lot out of me. There's a lot of that punchy surges that I was doing that, you know, took away a lot of my matches in this race here. Let's see what I do out of this one here. Yeah, see, they're pulling away. I'm going over 1100 watts, trying to hold it there, trying to hold that wheel, and he's pulling away from me. And you know, that's one thing. I don't have another 1400 watts to punch out of there at this point in the race and be able to catch back on. So I think this is when, yeah, they just completely leave me at this point. Like I'm still trying. I'm still trying to push through it, but I mean, you can see how quickly they just moved away. This is, you know, lap 11. So I thought, you know, a couple laps ago, I thought I was out. I made it back on. I was able to punch back on. And this is where I was talking about I probably maybe could have got back on. You know, they're maybe 5-6 seconds in front of me at the moment. And if I TT it at maybe 450 or 400 or something like that, I may be able to catch back on to them. But I was thinking I needed to punch it too much during the race, and you know, that I think tired me out quicker than if I would have just tried to hold a steady wattage amount at this point. Here we go, and they're just dangling in front of me like a little carrot. I gotta chase, but I don't think I ever caught back up to them at this point. And you can see I'm still trying to push, but I'm not getting out over 1,000 watts out of that 180, and I'm nowhere near the speed that they're going at this point. Like I'm going 26, 27, and then they are probably going about 30 around this curve here. Still pushing through it. I'm trying to give it that last little effort, but I'm doing these punchy bursts and trying to do it all in one punchy burst instead of just gradually catching up to them at this point. So I think that would have worked out a little bit better, just trying to TT it to the back of the peloton. But even so, I mean, I was already pretty dead at this point, and you know, even if I had caught back, it probably would have been more of the same thing at some point, them pulling away, especially with the surginess at the front there. Well, they dangled out there for a few more laps, but then they finally just took off on me, and I kind of relinquished control and just said, you know what, I'm just gonna ride it out. And here we go. This is my last lap. I think they only had a few more laps after this to go, but coming into the finish, and I'm getting the whistle to pull off to the side here. So that was the end of my race there, and that ended my Music City Crit Series races. And I was, before the end of this race, before I went into this race, I was in 8th in the series overall, I guess, for the entire series. And that is with missing, I think, 3 or 4 races, and also switching from Cat 4 to Cat 3. So I don't think the points from my Cat 4 switched over to my Cat 3. So those races, I guess, didn't count towards the points that I had. So we'll go with 8th place for now. The standings have not been updated as of recording this video. In a future video, I may announce, you know, what I ended up. But right now I'm in 8th place, and I think that's out of 40 Cat 3s, and that doesn't include any Cat 3s that moved up to Cat 2. So that is just what was left on the sheet that I saw. And yeah, so I feel pretty decent about that, with missing basically 3 races early on and then the last race. So I'll take 8th place overall in the Music City Crit Series. And yeah. Anyway, yeah, I know this video was a little bit shorter than most of my other ones, but you know, that happens sometimes. And one of the things that I'm gonna keep doing is I'm gonna keep working hard and keep pushing and try to get stronger on the bike. Hopefully lose some more weight as well, and be able to compete in some more races pretty soon. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know when I post videos. And yeah, look out for more videos coming soon. Appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.